Hello, good morning. I'm finding that I like to do these messages in the morning, maybe because it's when I feel most clear and most like I have something to share. So, this morning I do have something I'd love to share. I think I'm starting to get more comfortable with this. so, uh, so I'm going to tell you a little story. Well, part of a story. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. but uh, when I was married, which was over 7 years ago, 10 years ago, got married in '01. So, but it was towards the end of when we started to separate. Right about the time when we were experiencing our most kind of distance and resistance and pain and disillusionment, despair. Neither of us knew what to do. We knew we loved each other, but we did not know what to do because we were having problems. And it was just kind of, we were melting in this boiling pot of feeling like, well, this shouldn't, we did this and now we're stuck having to figure this out and make this feel good when it didn't feel good. And we couldn't seem to communicate. And, our feelings were both just hurting. And so my ex-husband, he had came from more of a breaking from tradition and dogma route, and very philosophical, and it was a wonderful thing for me because it brought out my intellectual side and allowed me to really challenge some of the belief structures that I had, and look at my spirituality in a new way, and learn my first kind of baby steps of what it was to be really fearless, and learning that true fearlessness was in challenging my own beliefs, period. And I think that's absolutely necessary and critical, even if you're kind of just doing it to test yourself. So we found this place, this yoga center where we were nearby our house, and he took to it right away. He was really just great with the stilling his mind and the physical aspects of it. And I was really excited to do it, but I kind of went into it feeling like, well, I'm not, it's going to be harder for me because I'm always, I always kind of, I guess I labeled myself someone that is just when something is new, doesn't come easily for me. And I think there are different reasons for that, but it's funny because in so many ways that's so not true. I'm great at adjusting to new things. It's like actually my strength. So it was telling myself the actual opposite. And lo and behold, I go and my first session at this place is a really wonderful center with, nobody spoke English and everybody was just, this was in their blood and their roots from their family, from where they came, from China. And I think it was China. And it was, you could just feel how, you could feel the wisdom that was there. And my first appointment was like, well, there was a class, but beforehand, what they do is they take you into this room and you lie down and they read your energy. And this woman, when she did this for me, she was kind of feeling around above my power chakra, which, I didn't have even the language at the time to know what that was. I'd heard of chakras, but I didn't know anything about them. And I certainly didn't understand my own. And she kept putting her hands up saying, Dungeon, you need power. You don't have power. And I remember thinking at the time, well, I have this, I have an autoimmune disease. I was diagnosed with celiac disease when I was a baby. So, I always thought she must be kind of picking up on like this digestive stuff or something, like weak digestion or something like that. And which may or may not be connected with the broader thing that I'm going to talk about, which is, other kind of power, all related. But I didn't, it's so funny to look back and see yourself at a time when you don't know something yet, but you know that something sounds like the truth. And when she said that, I knew that this was huge and that she was right and that this was going to be the journey for me. And so it's funny, I went into the class and we did this whole yoga session. And, I'm really like looking around, like self-conscious, not knowing how to do the poses. This is my first time. And then when we ended the session with a meditation, and she asked us to imagine like a glowing ball in front of you and to just start feeling the energy from there. And when I began doing this, looking back and remembering my state of mind, I could not have known this then, which is what made it so perfect. I was in such a state of willingness to do anything and let go because of how lost I was in my marriage and lost I was for an answer of what to do next. That it was just complete surrender. not even calculated, I'm going to surrender now. Because it was like I was a completely blind child doing this mechanical thing, probably thinking of something totally like not even thinking of my troubles or my marriage, but just like thinking of something really trivial and, lost in a kind of matrixy way. And the most powerful spiritual moment I've ever had to date occurred in that meditation. And I believe to this day that was my kind of reference point, my divine gift to myself in the time that I needed it, which I, to this day, remember that feeling so. It's so unforgettable to me, and it was so true and so clear and so powerful, so undeniable, that whenever I'm in a cloud now, this is these many years later, after all of this kind of work of consciousness, I'm actually feeling and doing and experiencing in my body, that I can actually bring myself back to that moment and remember, this is who I am. This is my reference point. Anything that's not this is not me, and is not freedom, and is not joy, and is not happiness, and is not who we really are here, and transforming that matter into. So I'll take you back to what it was to describing that moment. I was imagining this energy, and then I really started to feel it, and my hands, my arms started kind of moving involuntarily. And since my eyes were closed, I'm actually not sure if my actual hands were moving or not. But I could have sworn, like, as I was sitting there, I was thinking, are my hands moving right now involuntarily? I'm not doing this, But it was sheer bliss. And it felt so good that I kept doing it. I was like, I'm just in a regular yoga. Is everybody else having this experience? Because I'm not going to open my eyes, but this is fantastic. And then I actually started to have a dialogue with what I can only describe as myself, talking to myself, introducing myself to myself, and meeting myself truly for the first time. And the dialogue was kind of like I believe I didn't I didn't see it with my eyes, but I saw there was light. I think it was like a bluish violet, and there was a feeling that there was nothing. I was the center of everything. There was nothing below me. There was nothing to the right of me. There's nothing to the left of me. There's nothing above me. Like, I was in the center of, like, light, sun. And the voice, or the message that I was sending to myself or hearing from myself was, see, like, welcome, this is you, this is who you are, you're so, and then, like, I was saying back in return, like, really? You know, like, this is really me? And then I was saying, like, oh my God, I'm so cool. I'm so fun. I'm really smart and like just really fun to be around and like there's no crap in the way and no drama and no, it's just free and love and like just the ultimate freedom with nothing of this distress, you know? And just giving that, like, that permission back to myself that, oh, this isn't a freedom that I yearn for, that has the qualities of anything that I don't possess, that I am not already. That this is who I actually am. And there's nothing. The only reason I feel anything other than that is just my own silliness. So it was such an incredible experience. And I haven't come close to anything like that since, but it's 16 minutes. I don't know if this is gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So I came back to my house and I just like, I walked in and my ex-husband knew what happened because I was just kind of like, holy shit. And I was like, something happened. I don't know what you want to call it. It was nirvana or what it was. But I know now for sure. I know without a doubt that there's so much more to this. And this here that we're doing, this is like just a little stage. That what's really going on and what really animates this whole stage is that is what's real, and it is so great, and it's so massive, so infinite, so perfect. And he was kind of like, wow, you know, I think he was a little envious, but intrigued. And so I'm telling this story because I wanted to tell another little anecdote, which is an exercise that I kind of do, and there were two or three times that I really did this tenaciously, and I was able to do that because of this reference point that I had of who I really was. I was in a schedule where I was just 24 hours like waking up needing to write down my thoughts in the middle of the night and go back to sleep and wake up early and just all kinds of just really like not seeing anybody for months, not going outside the house for months, just really working on my shadow. And so there were a couple times, and the writing had become really useful to me because when I get in that space of asking myself questions, I get to my voice, my real voice, and just keep going and say, okay, so why do I feel this way? What is it I'm feeling? Really? Because that is the only thing. When you break it down to a simple formula, in some ways it's just so easy. It's just, you have to be truthful with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself, because that is the only way. That is the only way. And the sooner you bring yourself into that space, the more painless it is the irony. So I had decided that I was sick of this voice, this other voice that was monopolizing my sense of peace and my sense of knowing and remembering that joyful, free spirit that I am, and allowing myself to be that and not feel shame about that in this world, which, I was walking around feeling shameful that there were some things that I just couldn't allow my body to tolerate anymore. One of those things was the job that I was in, and the feeling just like something was off, like the pressure to the order of importance was not in the right order. And the notion of responsibility did not resonate for me. The notion of what is considered responsible in our society. And the feeling that I was being irresponsible by tending to my feelings and my heart, which was breaking, was just felt non-negotiable for me at this point. And so I was sitting down to do some writing, and I decided this voice that's kind of I call it my very own Supreme Court judge. You're lazy. You're just, at some point you're going to be sorry, and everybody that is concerned about you is right, and you're really just going crazy, and you're gonna, it's fine if you don't wake up now, but sooner or later you're gonna get a big slap in the face and realize you have to get with the program. You can't escape this thing. So I wanted to sit down and have a talk with that voice, because that voice was very, very different from the one that I met and knew of myself in that eternal, infinite moment of freedom and joy and bliss that was indisputable. And so I decided, I called it my saboteur or my demon. I was just going to allow the demon my own voice. I was going to give myself to that aspect of myself, not in a spiteful way, but with honest love, and seeing the sadness and the weakness of that voice, and realizing I was only empowering it by not giving this aspect of myself my voice. And I was, by acknowledging its role in this whole growth process, I was just beginning to bring it all into this choreography, inclusion that we're working with. It's what we have to work with for good reason. And so when I began talking and asking questions, well, why, that's not okay, and what do you have to say for yourself? what is the reasoning behind this? You prove it to me. Prove it to me right now. I had this dialogue, and instantly, I mean, it was so, it was so instant. This feeling, this voice that I felt had such power over me, that I was so fearful of, that was make me feel bad, without knowing it in my subconscious until I brought it out. When it was brought out into the light, it was just this little pitiful little old man with nothing. I don't know, it was a man. Yeah, it was a man. I've had my encounters with little old ladies, so yeah, so they're all aspects of the psyche that need to come out, and when they come out and you actually just sit with them as you would a nasty old person that you decide you're going to look at, and you're going to refuse to not see their light and their message for being manifest right there before you. And allow yourself to maintain that feeling of love and commonality and all that is. The energy is just completely, almost immediately softened into something that you can grasp, and you can just move through it, It's like the heavy duty curtains become suddenly like this clear, sheer, beautiful curtain where everything can pass through it. That's often what I imagine when I'm meditating, instead of like this vessel, which we are a vessel, but I imagine more like I'm not taking this energy and working with it and moving it down, that I'm just sheer moving through with all of it, and or imagining myself not floating on the ocean currents, but being the ocean currents, just merging yourself with all of it. So that was really important for me. The reference point, first of all, the reference point that I had, and then being able to bring that forward at any time that I wish, and look upon everything else that I feel that is antithetical or resistant, or just anything that's not fully, 100% completely that, which is who we are, which goes without saying, it's what we deserve, We certainly deserve to be who we are. It almost sounds silly to say it. So, yeah, I should finish this up. It's 29 minutes. I don't know if this is going to upload. I might have to break it up into two. And if I do, I'll do that, because I want to send this to you. Okay, well, happy, beautiful blue moon. And I will talk to you again soon.